Can cans give you the state of the American and global economies? Novelis thinks so. Novelis is the world's leading recycler and roller of aluminum cans and other aluminum products. And President and Chief Operating Officer Phil Martens joining us now in an exclusive interview from Atlanta. I love talking about the metals, Phil, like copper and aluminum and alumina and iron, because they are so indicative and such a good indicator of how the world is doing, because your products are used in so many different things. How are you guys doing, and what is your read on the U.S. economy right now?
Well, first of all, I would agree with you. As we look around the world and you look at first indicators of where economic activity is coming back, it really does come from the ground all the way through the conversion process. If you talk specifically about the United States, it's been an actual very interesting study over the past 6 months. And if you look at the January time frame, we had relative softness in our forecasts, and we really weren't running anywhere near the capacity in all of our facilities. If you look at it now, we're in a completely different state. We've seen a gradual and steady increase in demand across all the sectors we look into, and right now we're running flat out. And really, for the foreseeable future, call it the next quarter, I would have to say our factories in the United States and really the rest of the world are at capacity. So it's been a real steady climb in the United States, but we see it stable and we see the outlook pretty firm.
You do? Okay, that's good news.
Yeah.
How good of an indicator has your product and your order flow been then over the years for the economy? How good of a predictor is Novelis?
You know, I think it's a fair barometer because we deal with a variety of sectors in every economy. And if you look at the sectors we're talking about, for example, can. Now, can is a general consumer good. If I look into economies in South America or Asia, we do see as urbanization takes place, general welfare increases, people generally are having more income to buy, and with that disposable income, they do buy more aluminum beverage can products. If I look secondarily at two other sectors, though, which I think are more indicative, one is the auto sector. And in the auto sector in the United States, we have seen a doubling of the demand for our product. And I think that is an indicator of more economic activity than perhaps the can. And then also what's interesting is now the electronics sector worldwide. And I do believe the electronics sector is actually a strong indicator of where demand is. And that for us has doubled in the last year. And we do continue to see that decline. So our fundamental view right now is that worldwide economy and the economic conditions outside of the United States, for example, are quite strong, including Europe. In the United States, though, we are seeing a steady increase, and the two main sectors I talked about, electronics and auto, are helping to stabilize our capacity and really are giving us a little bit more of a bullish outlook as we move forward.
Well, as our viewers know, the country that I've been the most I've been very negative on China, but I've been very bullish on Brazil. Of course, the joke is Brazil's the country of the future, always has been, always will be. But Brazil's been doing pretty well. A lot of the companies there, Embraer, the aircraft manufacturer, you probably deal with them. They've got a $17 billion backlog. Bus sales have nearly doubled in the last 2 years there. Are you guys involved in Brazil? And if so, how is Brazil and the rest of Latin America doing? It's kind of a forgotten market, but it's a fast-growing market.
Well, for us, it's not a forgotten market, and I do agree with you. It's actually, to certain degrees, a bellwether for the last 2 or 3 years. You know, it's an economy with great fiscal economic policies. It really has matured well over the last decade. We announced last quarter a major expansion in our large factory down there, doubling our capacity, and we see very steady growth in 6 to 7 to 8% range. We see it in all sectors of the Brazilian economy. And in fact, we're seeing a bit of a halo effect into Argentina, Chile, Colombia, even into Venezuela. So from a point of view for us, Brazil really is a very stable, long-term play with pretty stable compound annual growth rate. And the consumers there are actually driving that. We think about 1 million jobs have been added over the last 12 to 18 months, and we expect that to continue.
Very quickly, we've been asking every executive on this program, Phil, in the U.S., are you hiring? Is Novelis hiring here in America?
You know, we've just begun to add factory people back, and that's happened over the last 2 or 3 months. It has been exactly as was described earlier on your show, a process of leaning out the factories and increasing the throughput with common or constant cost structure. I don't expect that to change too much going forward, but as production increases and you move from 2 shifts to 3 shifts, we do have to bring back people, and they're typically initially in what's called a contract or a temporary form, and if it's stable, we'll convert them. So the bottom line is, yes, we are beginning to add people in the salaried and on the factory floor, but we're very careful about it to make sure this is a stable long-term trend.
Well, at least you're starting to bring some people back here, and we like to hear that. Phil Martens of Novelis, thank you very much, Phil. It was a pleasure.
You're welcome. Thanks a lot.
All right.